Okay, so if we take each right number, like 14/3, divide by 7, each right number, 28/9, divided by 14/3, 56/27 over 28/9. If we look at, we keep dividing, we keep getting that same number. That's your common ratio. If we say math fraction, we can see then our common ratio is 2/3. Okay, determine the common ratio. So for part A, we could say our common ratio is 2/3. Okay, so now we want to find the fifth term. Okay, so let's look at finding the fifth term. If I take 7 and I multiply it by 2/3, I'm going to get 14/3. 14/3 times 2/3 is 28/9. 28/9 times 2/3 is 56/27. So if I want the fifth term, it's easy to find the fifth term because I know the first four terms. So the fifth term is just going to be 56 over 27 times 2 over 3. And let's let our calculator do the work for us. If I take 2/3 and I divide by 56 over 27, and we say math fraction, 112 over 81, 112 over 81 is our fifth term. Find the nth term. Okay, so what is the general formula? The nth term. Okay, so here's where we're going to find the nth term. The nth term is A, that's the first term, 7. The common ratio, we just found that to be 2/3. It's only the 2/3 that's going to get raised to the n minus 1 power. And that's it for problem 30. Okay, let's move on to 31. Determine the common ratio. Okay, so to determine the common ratio, we're going to again take a number on the right, divide it by the number on its left. A number on the right, divide by a number on its left. That's going to give us a common ratio. Okay, if we were to take negative 0.09 divide by 0.3, we get negative 0.3. Positive 0.27 over negative 0.9. So dividing each number by the number to its left, I keep getting that common ratio of a negative 0.3. If I say math fraction, negative 3/10, negative 3/10 is our common ratio. Okay, so our common ratio is a negative 3/10. We want next the fifth term. Okay, so to get the fifth term, if I take 0.3 and I multiply that by negative 3/10, and then I multiply that by negative 3/10. Okay, so going to the right, I keep multiplying by that common ratio r. So there's our second term, there's our fourth term as we see it. So we've got our first term, second term, third term, fourth term. So all I have to do is multiply that by 0.3, and that'll give me my fifth term, 0.00243. Then they want us to find the general term, the nth term, and so we go back up to our nth term formula. We're going to take the first term, which is 0.3 in this case, and then that's going to get multiplied by r, which is a negative 3/10, raised to the, since it's a general term, I don't have an n value. I would be plugging it in when I want a specific term. And there it is. We do not combine these 3/10 because this negative 3/10 belongs to the n minus 1 power. So I cannot combine it with anything. So be careful there. This 3/10 is going to stay on the outside. Find the indicated terms of the geometric sequence with the given description. Okay, so the fourth term is 12. So if we were to look at the fourth term is 12, that happens when n equals 4. The seventh term, so A7, the seventh term is 32 over 9. That happens when n equals 7. We want to find the first and the nth terms. Okay, so find the first and the nth terms. Let's go to our nth formula, which is here. So let's see, if we look at the fourth term being 12, we would have 12 is equal to A, which we don't know, R, which we don't know, but we do know 12 happens at the fourth term, so we do know n is 4. And so this would give us 12 equals A times R cubed. We'll do the same thing with A7. Okay, so 32 over 9 is equal to, we don't know the first term, we don't know R, but we know 32 over 9 happens when n is 7. So the power of R would then be 6. So we have 32 over 9 is equal to A times R to the 6. Okay, so what we can do from here is we can take and solve for A. If I solve for A, I get 12 over R cubed. And then I can substitute that A into here. And there's how we can find our common ratio R. So we have 32 over 9 is equal to A, which is 12 over R cubed, times R to the 6. Okay, so 3 of these will cancel out with 3 of these. So we have 32 over, let's go ahead and divide that 12 to move it out of the way. That's going to equal R cubed. If I want to know R, then all I would have to do is cube root both sides. So if I take 32 divided by 9, and actually let's go ahead and just do the whole thing. Second, nope, just the math menu. Go directly to the math menu. Option number 4 is the cube root. We're going to cube root 32 divided by 9 times 12. Let's try that again. That doesn't look right. Math menu, cube root. Okay, so we have 32 divided by 9 times 12. That's what it was. And then we'll say math fraction. What I did in this example here is I did a divide when I needed a times. 9 times 12 in that denominator. Okay, so then our R value is going to be 2/3. Okay, so R is equal to 2/3. So I have 12 over 2/3 cubed. And there's how I can find my first term. Because now I can plug in my R. R happened to be 2/3. Okay, so let's go back to the calculator. we're going to take 12, and we're going to divide that by 2/3 raised to the third power. Okay, so 40.5, if we do a quick math fraction, that would be 81/2 for our A value. Okay, so they wanted us to find the first term. Okay, so answer over here. Our first term is 81/2. Then they want us to find the nth term. So the nth term, we go to our formula here. We're going to take our first term, A, 81/2, and we're going to multiply that by our R value, which is 2/3. And since it's the nth term, we don't have a formula for n. We just leave it as n, n minus 1. And there's problem 42.